the other thing that you want to keep in mind as a buyer too is, we have to do our due diligence and make sure that we do a proper inspection, right, Christy? It's not a time to maybe cut the cost on paying for the inspections and things like that, because roof issue is no joke, guys. It's definitely not something you want to be cheap about and then having to find out later after you made an offer, you signed that dotted line, right? You don't want to find
Right.
yourself in that situation. And of course, this is going to happen, right, Christy? We see this a lot where you absolutely fall in love with a home and it's
Mhm.
calling your name and you can see your family in it.
It's so
But it does
emotional,
have,
right? It's
yes,
so,
yes.
yeah.
Exactly, and you just can't walk away, right? And it does have an old roof. It does have an issue. You do know that from the buyer, from the seller and the agent that's helping you. So, Christy, if that's the case, I'm the home buyer. I know the roof is old. What are some things that I should keep in mind if I'm
Yeah.
willing to pull the trigger anyways because
I
I
just
love the
want it anyway,
property?
right? Yeah, I mean, as a buyer, I think, and you and I are both homeowners, so we've
Mhm.
maybe been in this situation before, but you just have, go into it with eyes wide open, know what you're getting, know that you might be looking at replacing a roof, within the first, 5, 10 years, whatever, 2 years, whatever it is, depending on the age and condition of the existing roof. But and this is something we can talk about more when we're talking about the current homeowner
Mhm.
constituency, but not every roof problem is a claim. Just because the roof is aging does not mean that your insurance is ever going to pay to replace that roof. So just eyes wide open, no, figure that into your cost, budget for it, whatever it is that you need to do. Because it's literally, it's covering you, it's covering your family. You want it to be safe and viable. Um,
Yep.
you don't want, to put your belongings at risk with water damage and things like that. So you just
Yes,
gotta
absolutely. Yeah,
bite the bullet.
absolutely. Yeah, right. Plan for it or use it as a bargaining chip, right, Christy, to
Right. Yep.
to get that price down a little bit because
For sure.
you're going to have to deal with the issues when you take it over. And then to circle back on Christy earlier point too, if you are buying this home, um, part of the cost of homeownership is the insurance part of it. So, do reach out to your agent if you do have one, or if you don't have one, call an agent and get a quote on the home, guys. Roof is just one of the rating factors on the home. And like we mentioned earlier, there could be a different loss that comes up in the loss history of the property. You might want to know that about the home instead of going in blind. The other thing too is, make sure that the insurance uh, is available for you to obtain coverage, right?
Right.
Because
Right.
depending on the area the home is in, maybe it's not just a roof issue. We can cover this in another episode, Christy, but that could be the factor why you might have a hard time purchasing the property, right? If the insurance is way too expensive because of the roof age,
Hmm.
or it's just not insurable because of the roof
Right. Could
conditions and
be.
because of the age of the home and things like that. So find that out first beforehand, just like getting pre-approved on your loan before you start looking at houses. Get a quote on the home before you make that offer, for example.